Hi all, and welcome to day 1 of Blogmas 2017. Since my time for recording dates is kinda limited, I will be recording a little bit, or at least trying to, each day, and then uploading as one long file on probably a weekly basis. So today being December 1st and the first Friday of the month, tonight is my husband's work Christmas party. This is only the second year that we have attended the corporate Christmas party, as in previous years he worked at a store in a different area, so it's a quite different kind of thing because the store that he used to work for, their Christmas party wasn't until like the first or second week of January. So it's kind of nice to actually have a Christmas party during the Christmas season. So that will be how I keep busy this evening. We also have gotten the littles an advent calendar this year. If you may have noticed from one of my earlier podcasts, our theme this year for them is to be the Go-Go Smart Wheels or Go-Go Smart items from VTech. So we were able on the Black Friday weekend to snag one of the Go-Go Smart Wheels advent calendars. And we'll be hopefully opening that up when the bigs get home from school, since I do need help telling which day is which door. But the littles have already got to look at the train that comes with that, and they are quite excited about it. I also decided to start crocheting a new Christmas stocking this year. I'm not making it very big, so hopefully I can make at least 2 before the end of the Christmas season. But hopefully each day you'll get to see a little bit of progress that I have made on that. So today I just selected my yarn, which is the Karen 1 pound, and this is stuff I have left over from last year when I made elf hats for all the boys, which I probably should make new elf hats for my littles, since their elf hats don't fit anymore this year. Although the bigs, their hats should still fit this year, and maybe this year I'll actually get their little bells sewn in. Although I actually have to be able to find them in order to sew in those bells. I know we have one jingle bell that's been roaming around the living room all year long, but one bell doesn't really work for 2 hats. I hope some of these pictures come out and that I can share them with you. When I tried to take a picture of my red yarn, the twins wouldn't leave it or me alone, so I decided to have a little fun with them and take pictures, even though they're probably a little blurry and too close, since like I said, they wouldn't leave me alone or leave the yarn alone for me to get my work done. Anyways, that's about all for right now. It's unseasonably warm right now here, ranging, I think the high was 53. Hey Google, what's the weather? So yeah, if you heard that, today's high is 54, and so I am having trouble getting Sona to come back inside, as she thinks that outside is the place to be today. But anyways, I guess I'll end here, and hopefully later you might get a little audio or video of what the Christmas train does with our advent calendar, but if not, you'll get at least a picture of the boys enjoying it. Hey guys, it's day 2 of Blogmas. I'm recording at night and trying to not be hurt by the rest of the house, especially my husband, so I'm kind of whispering into the microphone tonight. So if it's extra quiet, you know why. Today we had the kids' Christmas party for my husband's work, which was at the Science Center, which they all enjoyed a lot. We had the party room at the Science Center where they got hot chocolate, donut holes, and some other goodies. And they got to color, and then we got to spend the rest of the day at the Science Center for no cost. We even got a parking voucher, so that was nice that it was an actual free event for us. Since this was just a normal day at the Science Center, it was not overly crowded like some of the other times we have tried to do the special events, and we actually got to do some of the programs there. And the kids actually got to be the special volunteers for the last program we did. And I did get some pictures, so if I can get those off of my phone, I will add them to this podcast. And as for my husband's Christmas party, he didn't win anything, but we had a good time with all his co-workers sitting at our own little table. I think we actually fit pretty much everyone and their spouses or dates with us at one table, even though we had kind of half reserved a second table when we had gotten there. So anyways, I know I said I was going to include some stuff of their advent calendar, but I found out that day 1 was actually the train, so they didn't have anything to open for day 1. And then day 2, we woke up this morning and our 7-year-old Sam had already broken into day 2. I don't know why he broke into a baby toy, but I guess he just couldn't resist, so it wasn't anything too exciting. It was just, I never even saw it. I want to say it was a barricade or something to go with the train set. So I guess we'll see what day 3 is for that. Anyways, I know this is probably kind of short, but I'm going to stop this here for today, and we'll see you tomorrow. Hi all, it's day 3 of Blogmas, and again, I'm recording late at night and trying to keep it pretty quiet since the rest of the house is already asleep. Today, we went out to a thing I found on Facebook. It was an event for a shopping district, which is actually on the other side of the metro from us, but it turned out to be pretty fun. We weren't really sure what to expect, as it was just something that had popped up as a sponsored link on my Facebook newsfeed, so I guess your ads do work sometimes. Of course, saying that something worked on me isn't saying much since I'm not your average technology user. My social media is very lacking on most instances, and I don't really follow the norm for really anything social media related. But anyways, we started off at the gym that was on the map, as it was supposed to be where the last event had started that they were doing. Although I have to say, being an onlooker, if I would have just driven down the block, I would have never known there was anything going on in this area, as being a 60-degree day in December, and the fact that it was sunny, like full sun, and there was no like Christmas music playing outside or anything else that made it overall festive. It wasn't exactly the most inviting Christmas event that I had ever been to. But once you got past all that, it did have an elf on the shelf fee. So each store that was participating had an elf that you had to find, and then there was little check-off sheets that you got filled out at each store, and then you got to turn those in, and hopefully one of our 4 chances, because we have 4 children, hopefully one of them will win the iPad, because we are kind of in need of a tablet that will work with the Cricut app, as the tablet thing that we're using right now says that we're not going to be able to use Cricut on it fairly soon, and that's kind of a bummer because that's kind of a big tool that we use in order to use our Cricut machine. We had gotten a new tablet thing from Target during the Black Friday sales, but my husband found out today that it doesn't even have Bluetooth, so the thing that we had gotten it for, such as the Cricut, is something we can't even use with this tablet, and the sound quality on it is absolutely terrible, and even being plugged in through the USB cable, it still had a really terrible sound quality that came through our speaker, which otherwise sounds fine. So that was a kind of disappointing thing that now we're going to have to get it returned. And we were going to have to return the exact model we got anyways because there's a defect in the screen. But now we'll just have to completely return it because we're not going to use it for anything else, and we can't use it for the thing that we had bought it for. But anyways, back to our little stroll this afternoon. The boys had lots of fun, at least the bigs, in finding all the elves. We probably went to 8 or 9 stores that they had to go and find the little hidden elves in. They ranged from clothing stores to little eatery places. There was even one that was in a bar, which was kind of inappropriate for a children's event, if you ask us, because they even have a moose with bras hanging off of it. And, you know, that's not exactly kid-friendly, and this is a Christmas event, after all, so that was kind of awkward, and that was actually our next to last stop, because the last stop is where you turn the things in. But I think they need to probably rethink that a little bit, because we waited in the place next door to that, which they're connected things, and we were probably in there 10 minutes, and nobody, came by. And it was like we had to go into this bar area in order for the kids to get their last signatures that they needed. And as my husband likes to point out, he had to send the 7-year-old up to the bar, which is probably bordering on the line of illegal. But they got their signatures, and then across from the last stop was a Pokemon gym. I don't know if anyone out there plays Pokemon Go, but our whole family plays it. We actually have 3 running accounts. We only had one up until the end of the summer, and then we found out ways to get it to work on my husband's phone and my kid's phone. So now we have 3 accounts running it, and since our kid's phone doesn't run it very well and is currently running it better than it typically does, this gym by this shopping district was one that the kids' phone actually worked at, and since they really wanted to do a raid, since they don't normally get to do raids, we went ahead and took them over there so we could do the raid with them, which we did defeat it, and we all caught the, I don't even remember what it was, it started with an S. But we caught that, and then we decided that we would go over to Target because we had purchased one of those projector light things online and we needed to go pick it up. We had purposely sent it over to this Target to pick up since we were going to be going to the shopping district over on that side of the metro. And since that Target is near a Michael's store, I decided, I have the Michael's rewards now. We should probably go ahead and stop there. And I open the app, and what do I see? But there is a 25% off coupon for Michael's Rewards members starting at 4 p.m. And I guess I walked into the store about 3:53 according to my phone, since I happened to get a notification from the store when I walked in. I did actually have a purpose to go in there. I wanted to get a marker, or what we ended up with was a gel pen that we can write on our Christmas tags with, because I decided that we would just use a bunch of our scrap pieces of paper from the boy shop and just use some of that up, and we have lots and lots of black. And so I thought it'd be nice to get something like gold or silver. We ended up with a gold gel pen that we can write things on those tags with. And I also decided I was going to spruce up some of my packaging, or especially the boys' packaging, with some washi tape. And lo and behold, those were in the same aisle as the markers, I think. So I got some blue sparkly tape because, I can't resist blue and glitter sparkly. But yeah, so I'll be able to use that with my ribbon to hopefully keep it kind of together, and the boys will be able to use it to close up their little boxes for their die cuts, and it'll all look kind of nice versus just my tape, or just kind of, a lot of times with my ribbon I just kind of stick it inside itself and it doesn't usually stay closed, I'm sure, during the shipping process. So this will be nice if it actually keeps it together a little more. When we walked in, they had those make your own ornament things where it's no glass or plastic bulbs where they're just clear and then you can fill it with whatever. And my husband decided that he really wants to make some ornaments with glitter and what he had thought was glue, but I guess now he's kind of looked it up, and what it recommends to use is like floor polish or something. So we have a trip to make to Dollar Tree, I guess, to see if we can find some cheap floor polish. But we got glitter and we got the ornaments. It probably in total I think cost us about $7 or so. Our total trip cost us $21 because we had our 25% off our total purchase, as well as a 40% off one regular priced item, which I think came off the marker. And we also got 40% off of the washi tape, which were two things I wasn't actually expecting to get the extra discount on, but those were nice to get discounts on. And then they had the carrot cakes for $5 each, and I decided if I'm going to go ahead and get them for 25% off, I might as well try them, since that will make them, I think my husband said it came to about $3.75 for a regular carrot cake, which was a lot better price than when I was looking at them online, where I'd have to buy 3 at a time, and that was $4.50, so $3.75 seems like an okay thing to play around with. So I ended up with 2, I think they're complimentary cakes. I'll probably do something kind of boring like a granny square blanket or something out of it. So I'll try to use one for the inside and one for the outside. But I decided I would get those, and my husband thinks I have enough yarn, but what does he know? So yeah, that was pretty much our day. We ended up going back to dinner, back to the shopping district for the pizza place. We have been there before, and it's pretty good. It's got unusual style pizzas, like Asian. What we ended up with was Mongolian beef, I believe, pizza. So yeah, just kind of a different kind of atmosphere. But that was our day 3. So I guess we'll see you on day 4. Talk to you later, guys. Hey everybody, welcome to day 5 of Blogmas. I didn't record anything yesterday, as my husband had the day off, as we had a funeral to go to. And by the time we got done with everything for the day, I was just exhausted, so I just decided to go to bed instead of trying to whisper into the microphone. For our activities yesterday, like I said, we had my husband's uncle's funeral. His uncles and aunts are on his dad's side are all like a generation older than his dad. So it was what would be more relatable to a great uncle versus an uncle. And we're not super close to this part of his family tree, but since we missed his cousin's funeral on Saturday due to all our Christmas activities, I really wanted to at least attempt to get to one of the funerals, since I felt kind of bad about not being able to go to the other one. His cousin died the day before Thanksgiving, or that night before, and then his uncle died almost a week later. It was the next Tuesday after that, so it was kind of really close to have 2 family funerals so close together. So if you could keep some of his extended family members all in your prayers and your thoughts in the next couple of weeks, since one of his cousins actually had his dad die, his cousin die, and his father-in-law die, all within a very short time frame of each other. So it's going to be really hard, especially going into the holidays, for this particular cousin of my husband's. So anyways, we left the Bigs in school yesterday, which actually was really nice for me and my husband for our road travel time, as this was back up in the town we used to live in, which is almost an hour away from us now. So my husband and I got to have some kind of nice chit-chat time, since the babies usually sleep and they don't have their big brothers in the back seat to entertain them. Which this was actually on the way back, but we had the hilarious incident where my husband started talking about how Hershey's bar, just a regular milk chocolate Hershey's bar, is not a candy bar, but an ingredient in candy. This comes about because our 10-year-old Jeremy has decided that the regular Hershey's milk chocolate bar is one of his favorite candies. So like at Halloween, we had a bunch of Hershey bars turn up in their treat baskets, and Sam likes to follow along with his older brother. So last year it was okay because it was just Jeremy doing it, but then this year we had both of them doing it, and it's just kind of funny since this is like the least favorite of course, the parents who, tend to sneak some of the candy, and you're trying to wade through all the Hershey's bars. But anywho, I don't know what brought this up, but my husband went into one of the gas stations to use the bathroom and to get a drink, and he was going to get a light snack. And I had said something about grabbing a Snickers bar, and I don't know if there was something said inside the store where someone saw a Hershey's bar, or if it was just displayed next to the bar that he had actually gotten. We had actually tried the Snickers bar with hazelnut, and honestly, it tastes just like a regular Snickers bar. But anyways, since something about that brought up this whole thing, and you just have to hear my husband sometimes and how he talks, because it is just hysterical. So anyways, we started off our trip up to the town we used to live in a little early, and we actually went to his dad's house first, and they followed us over to lunch, and we went to one of our favorite little barbecue restaurants that we don't get to go to anymore, which the babies both enjoyed quite a lot. I mean, really guys, can you beat homemade lemonade and smoked meats? And then the funeral parlor wasn't too far from that, so after lunch we just headed over there, even though it was a little early. The actual service and things didn't start till 1 o'clock, and we were there probably about 12:40 or so. And overall, the twins didn't do too bad at the service. There's actually a little waiting room next to the area where they have the actual service, and so we just stayed in that area with the boys, and they weren't going to sit still or quiet for any part of it. And then after that, we did go out to the burial, as this is an area where many of hubby's dad's side of the family is buried, and actually my husband's best friend is buried over here, so it was kind of a way for us to pay respects to many of the people who have already passed, even if we didn't actually get to see like his best friend's grave, since it was covered up by the tent for his uncle's funeral. So yeah, it was a bit of a somber day, but a nice reflection time, and we sang lots of Christmas carols that came up on the radio, because at this time it was still like 65 degrees out. And then when we were on our way home, we had hit this town that's kind of the halfway point between our old town and our new house, and the temperature had dropped like 20 degrees within a matter of minutes. It was just kind of funny because it just all of a sudden got so much colder. So yesterday's high was, I believe, 67, and today I think it might be 35. It is dramatically colder and windy. After we got back, I had our ladies' Christmas dinner for our church, and I actually went to this with my mother-in-law, and we left the rest of the boys to fend for themselves. This restaurant is actually related to my family's favorite Mexican restaurant, but it isn't the actual location that we usually go to, although my husband has been to it and said it was pretty much exactly the same. I would care to argue that it's not quite as good, but it's still decent. I usually get a larger meal and then split it, or let the 4 boys eat off of my plate, but since I was by myself, I decided this time I would just get one of the smaller combinations so that I could actually eat all my food and not have a ton of stuff to take home that I'm probably not going to eat anyways, because sometimes that stuff isn't always the best when it gets soggy and left over. And my mother-in-law actually paid for my dinner, and that was not my only free meal for the day. So I had a free meal day, which was kind of a nice extra little gift for me for the day, as my father-in-law paid for our lunch, and then my mother-in-law paid for my dinner. So, on to today. I have some Etsy orders to get caught up on. I'm not super behind, but I'd like to get stuff out in the mail. Especially, I might even just get them packed today and then mail tomorrow, because we tend to mail on Wednesdays, since my son has confirmation class on Wednesdays, and we don't have a whole lot to do for that hour, because it's only an hour, and it takes time to get from anywhere to anywhere around here. So we like to go up to the church and then over to the grocery store, which is our mail drop-off location. So I need to get some orders ready. Actually, the kids have an order that should go out today, so I might actually make a post office trip today. We'll see. And I don't know, we might make some fudge. We still have to make I was going to try to make a diabetic friendly fudge that I had seen online. And we still need to go, and we might try Walgreens, because my husband said he tried Dollar Tree to see if he could find his floor polish for his ornaments, and they didn't have any. And there's a Walgreens not too far from the church. Oh, I guess that'd be tomorrow, not today. Oh, we need to get milk, so I guess we will be going to the grocery store regardless if the boys actually get their order ready to mail or not. Oh, and you guys just need to see the littles walking around, especially Leo, since he was my slower to walk and my more confident now walker. He is just so cute when he walks through the living room, and he just kind of bobs around and then like, look at me, I'm walking, and then all of a sudden he falls. But it is so cute and so funny. You kind of forget how cute they are at this stage, I guess, when your oldest is 10 and your next oldest is 7. And yeah, that's about it for today. So I guess we'll see you tomorrow.